Hi, y'all. Um, I I know that you know that most of you know that I'm normally on camera. I just want to give you a heads up. There's a reason why I'm not, and it's because um, yesterday I had a very bad fibro flare up with brain fog, and I had a mishap with a brand new cat shaver that I got from my cat Willow, um, where I had never used one before, ever. And so when I got it in the mail yesterday evening, I decided I was going to test it out. And in my brain fog, I decided I was going to test it out on me. And needless to say, that it works very, very well, too well. And now I have a huge bald spot on the side of my head by my face. So until that grows back a little bit and, or I can figure out a way to cover it up, or if it cools down enough that I can wear my hair down. Because right now I can't wear my hair down, otherwise I sweat profusely. So, and nobody needs to see that. So, just want to give a little explanation that that's likely I'm going to likely be off camera um, until either it grows back or I find a resolution. Um, okay, but let's get into it. So today I'm just gonna do a quick review of the Travis Decker case, just because I want to get the ball rolling here. Travis Decker, the end of May, um, picked up his three young daughters from his ex-wife's house for a visitation, um, and ended up they say anyways, court of law, he's innocent until proven guilty, right? But they say that he murdered his three young daughters over the weekend. He picked them up on a Friday evening, and over that weekend, um, he did what he did. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to read through with a couple of documents and do a news conference, and then do a brief, show you some court records in regards to him and his ex-wife, Whitney, um, their divorce, because it does play into this. So let me go ahead and get my screen shared. The first one I'm going to show is going to be, it is titled Court Records Review Custody Issues for a Man at the Center of a National Manhunt. And this was dated back in June of 2025. So we're going to do a quick read through with this one, and then the next one is going to do a timeline. And then I'll show the video, and then we'll go over the documents and be done at that point. So let me get my screen shared with you one moment. All right, there's that. So again, this is titled Court Records Reveal Custody Issues for Man at Center of a National Manhunt, which, by the way, it is still currently going. They have not found him. So to start off, the recording from the last custody hearing in Chelan County Superior Court between Whitney Decker and her ex-husband Travis Decker, who is now at the center of a national manhunt, paints an insightful and sometimes eerie glimpse into the months that led up to the brutal murders of their three young daughters Olivia, age 5 years old, Evelyn, 8 years old, and Peyton, 9 years old. In September 2024, both parties stood in front of a judge requesting their court approved parenting plan in place since March of 2023 be temporarily amended. According to the recording, while both parties presented motions to request their proposed changes, the judge decided not to consider the motion presented by Travis Decker, who represented himself after Whitney Decker's attorney objected, saying he failed to file the motion correctly and did not serve Whitney Decker. Judge Robert Jordan agreed, and both parties instead presented their arguments for and against Whitney Decker's motion to amend the plan. And Travis Decker faces issues with child custody. Whitney Decker's attorney, Ariana Cozart, asked Judge Jordan to temporarily take away Travis Decker's overnight custody rights after expressing concern that changes in his personal life presented significant safety risks for their 3 children, including having them stay with him at a National Guard armory. The children were sleeping at the armory where there were obviously dozens of other men present, and the children were left at least once while Mr. Decker went to the Safeway, Cozart said. They are too little, and quite frankly, they shouldn't be staying in the armory anyway. Cozart also told the court Travis Decker owed Whitney Decker thousands of dollars in child support and was homeless and living out of his truck or motels or friends' homes. Cozart requested Judge Jordan order a domestic violence evaluation and a full psychiatric assessment. Travis Decker acknowledges housing instability. In a response, Travis Decker acknowledged his struggle with housing instability and described the challenges he faced transitioning from his career in the military, where he served as an Army Ranger, into civilian life. When I was separated from active duty, I tried to figure out how to live as a civilian, he said. I didn't have family, friends, or any support, especially moving to a state where I had no one to lean on or even a couch to sleep on. Travis Decker also told the court in order to provide overnight shelter, he would often take his daughters camping, which this is what he did on that horrific weekend. I don't believe that my weekends should be completely taken away since I have been gone, Travis Decker said. Every time I've had the girls, we have been in campsites and national forests and paid campsites that have campers. We've never done anything that was unsafe or anything I wouldn't put myself in. Judge grants motion, but Travis Decker refuses psychiatric evaluations. At the end of the almost 30-minute hearing, Judge Jordan granted Whitney Decker's motion and temporarily amended the couple's parenting plan. However, Travis Decker refused to sign any court documents. Mhm. The judge told Travis Decker signing the documents was up to him, but his order would be legally binding with or without his signature. Travis Decker also refused to attend any domestic violence psychiatric evaluations and assessments. 7 months later, Chelan County deputies found the bodies of his children at a campground 18 miles west of Leavenworth. And that is that for that article. So the next one, this is going to be the timeline. And let me get my screen shared. We'll go read that one. So one moment. Okay. So, this is a Travis Decker timeline how an active dad ended up allegedly murdering his three daughters. In a mystery that has, and this is titled, this is actually August 4th, so it's fairly recent than the last 9 days. In a mystery that has captured national attention, Washington father Travis Decker picked up his three young daughters on May 30th for a planned visitation and never came back. So, again, what we just read in the previous article that was part of the agreement. The three girls, Peyton Decker, age 9, Evelyn Decker, age 8, and Olivia Decker, age 5, were found dead near a Washington campsite on June 2nd, according to police. And you see those three little girls right there. Decker, who has been accused of murdering the three girls, has since disappeared, sparking a multi-agency manhunt. It's been over 2 months since the girls' bodies were found, and a manhunt excuse me, for Decker continues. Here's a timeline of what we know about the murder of the three sisters who were described by their mother, Whitney Decker, as having warm and open hearts. And by all accounts, these were really sweet girls, like really sweet. So on May 30th, Travis Decker picked up the girls at their home in Wenatchee Valley, talked to his ex-wife for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then left. Ariana Cozart, which is Whitney Decker's attorney, told ABC News. He said, "Hey, I will see you at 8 p.m." And he left and he never came back, Cozart said. And this was around 5 p.m., around 5 p.m. on a Friday. And Whitney Decker immediately started ringing all the bells and whistles after 8. Whitney Decker contacted police that evening with a civil complaint saying she had not heard from Travis Decker and he had failed to bring the girls home at their scheduled time, officials said. She attempted to call her ex-husband multiple times, but his cell phone was going straight to voicemail, and she began to express concern because he reportedly has never done this before, and further noted he is currently experiencing some mental health issues, according to court records. May 31st, detectives later learned Travis Decker and his daughters did not arrive at a planned 5K running event on May 31st, according to court documents. The Wenatchee Police Department announced the disappearance of the three girls, stating that Travis Decker was homeless and living in his vehicle or at various hotels, motels, or campgrounds in the area. Police said at the time that the investigation had not met Amber Alert criteria, but they did issue an endangered missing person alert through the Washington State Patrol. And there, right there, is a picture of Travis Decker. June 2nd, at approximately 3 p.m. on June 2nd, officials located Travis Decker's vehicle unoccupied near the Rock Island Campground in Chelan County, police said in a press release. According to law enforcement, officers responded to the scene and found the bodies of the three girls, but Decker was not located. We want to express our sincere and deep, heartfelt condolences to the family at this time, police said. Officials began their search for Travis Decker, who police said is a former member of the military with extensive training. Travis Decker was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of first-degree kidnapping, police said. And that was on June 2nd. So on June 4th, 2 days after the girls were found, the manhunt continued for Travis Decker, with officials saying he could be anywhere within the nation. Travis, if you're listening, this is your opportunity to turn yourself in, do the right thing, do what you need to do, and take accountability for your actions. We're not going to rest, and we're going to make sure we find you. You will be brought to justice. Those young ladies deserve it, Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison said during a press conference. Reports of a possible sighting of Travis Decker in Idaho on June 4th were debunked by authorities the same day. Based off the information we got back was that the sighting in McCall, Idaho was not our suspect, Morrison said in a press conference. Court documents obtained by ABC News revealed more details regarding the crime scene, including that there were plastic bags over the heads of each girl, and their wrists were zip tied. I believe there was also a handprint. Around Travis Decker's vehicle, deputies located zip ties and plastic bags strewn throughout the area. In the tailgate of the truck had what appeared to be 2 handprints of blood, according to the documents. Authorities also learned that Travis Decker was well versed in wilderness survival and could be capable of spending days or even weeks in the wilderness on his own with very little equipment. And from what I understand, he has done that multiple times. He has likely done like a geocaching thing where he has hidden personal belongings in various areas in the wilderness in Washington, and I'm sure Idaho. He has ties to Idaho as well. This guy can go months on end in the wilderness and not be seen, is my understanding. So to continue, more information about Travis Decker's military background also emerged, specifically that he was deployed to Afghanistan in 2014 while on active duty in the Army and was then transferred to the Washington National Guard in 2021. From the active component, according to a spokesperson for the Washington State Military Department, preparations for an administration separation began in 2023 or 2024, but the process had not officially started, and he remained in the Washington National Guard, the spokesperson said. Local officials began working with the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the U.S. Marshal's Office in their search efforts. June 5th, Cozart revealed to ABC News more information on Travis Decker, specifically that he lacked mental health resources and struggled with post-traumatic stress disorder. The courts didn't fail these girls. It wasn't the judge and it wasn't Whitney. It was our system, Cozart said. Whitney feels like the system really let Travis down. If somebody would have provided Travis with the help that he needed, those girls would be alive. And that's Whitney's attorney right there. Before the girls disappeared, Cozart said there were no red flags and that he loved those girls very much. Additional details on Travis Decker and Whitney Decker's marriage emerged, including that his PTSD was something he always carried with him during their 10 years together, with Travis Decker screaming in the middle of the night, soaking the bed, and only getting 1 or 2 hours of sleep, Cozart said. After their marriage ended in 2023, Whitney Decker, who has full custody of their children, decided to seek legal counsel and petition the court to put restrictions in place on his parenting due to concerning factors regarding Travis's mental health and stability, Cozart said. Cozart told ABC News the court at the time granted visitations for the father to visit the children for 3 hours on Friday and 8 hours every other weekend, so long as he remained in Wenatchee Valley with the girls. This parenting agreement was working really well until May 30th, Cozart said. On June 9th, an autopsy determined the girls' cause of death to be suffocation, and the manner of death was ruled as a homicide, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. The sheriff's office said it had collected a large amount of evidence, many of the suspect's personal items from the truck, though the analysis of the evidence creates more questions and information for investigators to continue to pursue. Blood samples taken from the scene included human and non-human, the sheriff's office said. He did have a dog, by the way. The further DNA and fingerprint analysis are still being conducted, the sheriff's office said. The suspect's dog had also been recovered and turned over to Humane Society for care. June 10th, an affidavit obtained by ABC News revealed that Travis Decker had made several internet searches 4 days before he picked up the girls about moving to Canada. His Google searches included how does a person move to Canada and how to relocate to Canada, the affidavit said. The U.S. Marshals Service, which is leading the search for the suspect, announced a reward of up to $20,000 for information leading directly to Travis Decker's arrest. On June 17th, officials released a new suspect flyer of Decker, including the photos of potential ways Decker may have altered his appearance in the weeks since he was last seen. And there's one of the posters there. June 20th, a memorial is held for the three sisters, with Whitney Decker speaking for the first time since the death of her daughters. I'm so thankful for the time I had with the girls. I truly hope that the legacy of the girls' lives lives in everyone's hearts forever. They were incredible, Whitney Decker said. On June 23rd, excuse me. Sorry about that. June 23rd, officials released an update regarding the search efforts, stating that there is no certain evidence that Decker remains alive or in this area. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office also confirmed to ABC News that cadaver dogs have been deployed and utilized in the search, along with tracking dogs. We can't and won't quit this search, Kittitas County Sheriff Clay Myers said in a statement. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker deserve justice. Decker remains a danger to the public as long as he's at large. Deputies have investigated dozens and dozens and dozens potential sightings, tips, and leads, with none being successful. June 27th, Todd McGee, a law enforcement and security analyst, told ABC News he believes the fugitive father is likely still alive and will eventually surface. Since canines have not picked up any type of cadaver or any type of presence of a deceased body. Canines are trained to look for cadavers and sniff for those types of odors. So he still may be on the move, McGee said. McGee said Travis Decker will likely leverage every bit of his military experience, but said he believes he will eventually surface. He'll eventually have to surface through seeking shelter, seeking food, nutrition, those type of things will require him to come out of hiding and, to some degree, expose him to the general public, McGee said. Regardless of where Travis Decker may be, McGee said he is confident the search efforts will lead to some form of closure. I'm confident that something should reveal itself as far as a resolution as to where his existence is, and hopefully a capture and an arrest, McGee told ABC News. On July 1st, officials announced on July 1st that the bloody handprints found on the tailgate of Travis Decker's truck matches the DNA profile that we believe is Decker's, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. With this evidence, officials said they do not have any reason to believe there are any other suspects. Authorities said they are continuing this multi-agency search for Decker, saying the National Park Service is also planning to send out swift water search and rescue teams in the near future to conduct more searches of the bodies of water around the crime scene. July 5th, the U.S. Marshals Service said it received a tip on July 5th from a family camping in the Bear Creek area of Sawtooth National Forest in Idaho, saying they saw someone consistent with the description of Travis Decker. The person was described as a white male, anywhere from 5 feet 8 inches tall to 5 feet 10 inches tall, wearing a black mesh cap, black gouged earrings, which that is very important actually to know in this case. A cream-colored t-shirt, black shorts, low-top sneakers, and a black Garmin-style watch, officials said. He also had a long ponytail, an overgrown beard, and a mustache, and was carrying a black JanSport backpack, officials said. The U.S. Marshals Greater Idaho Fugitive Task Force, a statewide cooperative to locate and arrest violent state and federal fugitives, said it will investigate the possible sighting of Decker with the help of local Idaho officials. July 17th, video released by the Wenatchee Police Department shows Travis Decker 3 days before he picked up his kids and vanished. And I believe this is the ring footage. The video, obtained by ABC News, shows Travis Decker in the parking lot of a grocery store in Wenatchee. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, this is a different one. After he rear-ended another individual's vehicle. Okay, yes, because there are 2 videos. There's that one, and then there's a ring footage, which I'll show at a later date. Throughout the 20-minute video, Travis Decker is seen wearing a white shirt and dark shorts, leans against his white pickup truck, crosses his arms, and talks to a police officer and the individual whose car he hit. There's a little more information there. Officials described the incident as a fender bender and that Travis Decker would receive a ticket in the mail for no insurance and following too closely, police said in the incident report. The interaction occurred 3 days before he picked up his daughters for the planned visitation. The same day this footage was received by ABC News, Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison said officials are, of course, frustrated, like the rest of our community, that Decker has not been located. Even though the search efforts have scaled back, Morrison said the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, the U.S. Marshals Service, and partners in Canada are still actively working on the investigation and will follow any possible leads that could help them locate Travis Decker. We could be in for a fight for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I certainly hope we're looking at a couple weeks and it closes out. But it could be a long time, and we are committed to staying with it, Morrison told ABC News. And that they are. Trust me, they are. Morrison also revealed that the non-human blood samples found at the scene of the crime belonged to Travis Decker's dog, which was recovered in good health at the scene and was taken to Humane Society. July 25th, nearly 2 months into the search for Travis Decker, officials said they were scaling the manhunt back amid a decrease in leads and tips. Sorry about that. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office said the manhunt for Travis Decker will continue with a reduced footprint while the criminal investigation remains ongoing. They described the search efforts around the wilderness and initial crime scene as exhaustive, according to a press release. In the most recent search for the father was conducted in the Blewett Pass area in the Wenatchee Mountains, but the potential evidence and intelligence gathered in this area are inconclusive, meaning we cannot confirm any of the information is directly associated with Mr. Decker, the sheriff's office said. Officials strongly encourage everyone venturing out into these areas remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities, and those who do come across something to mark the location using GPS or take a picture. On August 1st, officials received a tip from a community member on August 1st who believed they saw Travis Decker near Snoqualmie Pass along the Pacific Crest Trail in Washington, according to the King County Sheriff's Office. After receiving the tip, officials said they dispatched multiple police units, including a SWAT team, K-9 units, and a helicopter to the area. But after a few hours, officials ended the search and Travis Decker was not located, the sheriff's office said in a statement to ABC News. All right, so there is that. Give me one moment here. Okay, sorry about that. I had to um, open my door because it is hot as heck in there. Oh, hi, true crime lullabies. How you doing? All right, so the next one I think we're going to go over is the affidavit. So let me share my screen. Get that pulled up here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is Superior Court for Chelan County. Ari Travis C. Decker, date of birth. There's the County of Chelan. The undersigned on oath states that affidavit believes that the crimes of murder first degree and kidnapping first degree have been committed by the defendant. Today's date, June 3rd, the time, 900. The affiant's belief is based on the following facts and circumstances. On May 30th, 2025, at around 21:34 hours, Whitney D. Becker arrived in lobby at the Wenatchee Police Department to report a civil complaint. She advised patrol that her ex-husband, Travis Decker, had failed to return their 3 children at 8 o'clock in violation of their agreed-upon and court-ordered parenting plan. Corporal Gonzalez noted Whitney appeared distraught and looked like she had recently been crying. She advised that her and Decker were previously married but have been divorced for several years and have 3 children together. Along with the divorce, the two have had a parenting plan in place, with the most current one issued by a judge on September 27th of 2024. The current parenting plan limits Decker's visitation to every other weekend, with specific hours of Fridays from 5 to 8, Saturdays from 11 to 7, and Sundays from 9 to 5. The order also specifies no overnight visits, and the visits will only occur in the Wenatchee Valley. Whitney reported that Decker picked up their daughters from her residence at, I don't want to say the address there, but did not return. It's not relevant. But so picked them up at 5 o'clock, but did not return around 8. She stated she attempted to call Decker multiple times, but his cell phone goes straight to voicemail, which typical means the cell phone is off or out of service. Whitney expressed concern because Decker reportedly has never done this before and further noted he is currently experiencing some mental health issues. At the time of the initial report, Whitney explained that Decker does not currently have a stable residence and is currently homeless. He is known to often stay in hotels, motels, or he camps at local campgrounds. But Whitney did not know where to find him. Corporal Gonzalez stated he attempted Decker's cell phone, but it went straight to voicemail, identifying the cell phone as Decker's. So Whitney knows Decker drives a white truck, but was unsure what kind. She, however, noted that he had recently been cited for driving without insurance. Corporal Gonzalez conducted a court record search and identified Decker's truck as a white 2017 GMC Sierra, Washington license plate D as in David 20165C as in Charlie. He had been in a collision on May 27th of 2025 and was in fact cited for some infractions following the investigation by WPD Patrol. It also appears he was in another collision on May 4th of 2025 but left the scene. Call notes say there was no damage to the other vehicle when patrol arrived, and the other driver declined a need for follow-up. Corporal Gonzalez checked Decker's vehicle registration through Flock Safety and found the truck last registered by automatic license plate readers northbound on the Wenatchee Bridge at 5:41. He noted, and again, this would have been 5:41 on May 30th. He noted this was likely after Decker picked up his daughters and suspected he may be headed to a hotel or campground in the North End. After the contact with Whitney, Corporal Gonzalez checked all hotels, motels in the city limits as well as Confluence State Park. While at Confluence, he spoke to a park ranger and was able to check their camping register. Decker was not listed as staying at any campsite. East Wenatchee PD Officer Conley was contacted and asked to check East Wenatchee hotels, motels for Decker's vehicle. After a search of the area, Decker's vehicle was not located. Given the circumstances, an attempt to locate was initiated for all Valley agencies to be on the lookout for Decker, his vehicle, and the children. Corporal Gonzalez investigated further and consulted with the Washington State Patrol Missing and Endangered Person Unit. He provided the facts of the case to screen for an Amber Alert, but based on the fact there was no current evidence to believe the children were at risk of serious bodily injury or death, it did not qualify. Whitney was advised of the updates and inability to locate the children, Decker, or his vehicle. He was advised to call Rivercom. She was advised to call Rivercom immediately if and when she hears from Decker. May 31st, there was a large social media presence looking for information into the whereabouts of Decker and the children. By the time I saw the social media posts, it was clear that Whitney had not been able to contact Decker for over 12 hours. And from the WPD's pass down, it was noted that one of the children had an event planned at a local park the morning of that Decker and the children never showed up for. With a continued concern about the lack of communication from Decker, I met with Whitney at our parents' residence in Wenatchee to get further details. Whitney explained that she and Decker were married for about 7 years, but have been divorced for a few years. She explained the divorce was civil, and initially Decker had housing and was allowed overnight visits. However, when he lost housing, the parenting plan was readdressed to accommodate accordingly. Whitney denied any domestic violence during their marriage, but did mention moments of power or control he used. She provided the examples of randomly leaving or waking her up by screaming at her in the middle of the night. She also said near the end of the marriage, he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder that she believes he currently does not take medications for. While married, Whitney and Decker had 3 children in common. She identified them as Oh gosh, and I can't remember their names right off the top of my head, but a 9-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old. I believe the 9-year-old is Peyton, um, but they are redacted. They reportedly have a good relationship with Decker and enjoy their time with him, which they actually did. They actually did. The overall relationship was reported to be good, and the children enjoy their time with Decker. Whitney also reported no issues with recent visitations and stated her and Decker are communicative with issues surrounding them, and if either will be late for any reason. She reiterated that Decker has never failed to return the kids. The parenting plan provided by Whitney specifies the visitation hours and discusses holiday and birthday considerations. Notable concerns are reasons putting limitations of parenting show Decker has neglected his parental duties and has a long-term emotional or physical problem that gets in the way of his ability to parent. The plan also notes details about access to the children and ability to talk with them via cell phone when needed. Whitney said they agreed to the plan, but the signature line states Decker refused to sign. Decker is also supposed to seek mental health treatment and domestic violence anger management counseling under the parenting plan, but has not. The exchange on Friday night occurred without issues. However, Whitney noted Decker was quieter than usual, which was out of character. She mentioned the recent ticket being a financial burden for him, along with garnished wages due to back child support. She then added that he has been talking about getting rid of his dog due to housing and further financial concerns. Whitney stated his children and his dog are the two big positives in his life. Whitney also stated when overnight camping trips have been allowed, they have been planned in advance with clear details of the plans. The children also leave with a bag of clothing and appropriate attire to spend the night outdoors. When they left the home, they had the clothes on their back. As of June 2nd at 9 a.m., there has been no contact with Decker, and his cell phone continues to go straight to voicemail when called. He has failed to return the children on Friday, May 30th at 8 o'clock. Sorry, I said that wrong. He failed to return the children on Saturday, May 31st at 7 o'clock. He failed to return the children Sunday, June 1st at 5 p.m. Decker then failed to show up to work this morning, and his boss noted some recent mental health concerns. Given that Decker has failed to return the children when directed and with no communication with Whitney, it is believed there is an intent to withhold the children permanently from Whitney. And given that he has superposed 3 different scheduled times for return of the children, is believed that he is well past a protracted period of time. And given that the children left home with no supplies for the extended time, it is believed there is a substantial risk of illness or physical injury. Therefore, there was probable cause to arrest Travis D. Becker for 3 counts of custodial interference in the first degree. And on June 2nd, 2025, a warrant for his arrest was requested and later granted by the Chelan County Superior Court Judge Robert Jordan. In an active attempt to locate Decker and the children, law enforcement utilized a variety of resources and known tools to include cell phone records and timing advance, automatic license plate readers, canvassing of the area for security, search of possible locations in the region, and social media. On Monday, June 2nd, a larger and more intensive search was conducted across Chelan County with the help of CCSO and eventually family, friends, and volunteers as people began to learn about the children's disappearance. At around 3:56 on June 2nd, CCSO Deputy McLeod located Decker's vehicle unoccupied in the area of Rock Island Campground in Leavenworth off Icicle Road with the nearest city/town of Leavenworth. The campground is located in unincorporated Chelan County in Washington State. Law enforcement personnel from Chelan County Sheriff's Office and Wenatchee Police Department, along with helicopter support from Homeland Security Investigations, converged into the area. Approximately 75 to 100 yards past where the vehicle was located and down a small embankment, CCSO deputies located the bodies of 3 school-aged children. Due to current safety concerns and scene preservation, the bodies have yet to be approached. But there are some clear signs of lividity. Each has a plastic bag over the head. Based on the totality of the circumstances, including the proximity to the vehicle and visible attire of the bodies, which is consistent with the clothing the children were wearing when they were transferred to Decker for visitation, they are presumed to be the 3 children. Peyton, Evelyn. Decker's location is currently unknown, and there is currently a coordinated effort to search the immediate area, if not further, for him so the scene we have can be searched. Around the vehicle and along the way to where the children are located, deputies located zip ties and plastic bags strewn throughout the area. The tailgate of the pickup truck also has what appears to be 2 handprints of blood. The truck has personal items to include blankets, car seats, food, miscellaneous items, and a wallet on the center console. During the search of the area, an abandoned camp was located nearby in approximate area of those coordinates with signs of recent activity. The camp consists of a fire pit, tent, and cooler, and within a short walk from where the vehicle and bodies were located. Cell phone records, Decker's cell phone acquired Saturday under exigency show that Decker likely traveled to the area on Thursday, May 29th evening and returned Wenatchee Friday morning. Under the totality of the situation, it appears that Decker drove through the area the night prior and returned the next day with the children. Preliminary examination suggests the likely cause of death was asphyxiation. Their wrists were also zip tied, or should say, okay. There is probable cause to arrest Travis C. Decker for 3 counts of murder in the first degree and 3 counts of kidnapping first degree. All right, and there's that. And then I think what I'm actually going to do is I'll go over the divorce documents at a later date since this is getting kind of dragged on. And I do want to show, pardon me just a minute. Okay, now I'm going to do it. What I'm going to go ahead and do is just show the video. This is one of the, and I believe the latest press conference that they showed. So one moment, let me get this set up. And then after I show this, then we'll just call it a day and end it at that point. End the stream, excuse me. One moment while it does its thing here.
Remain committed here at the Chelan County Sheriff's Office with our regional partners.
Volume is all the way up.
You're going to hear further from our U.S. Marshal partners to kind of elaborate further on how they're going to also assist us in the tracking process. We have not stopped our investigation. Thank you, Chief Batiste, for your continued assistance on this. Are starting to come back. We want to make sure those are properly processed.
Sorry while I try to
Additional
figure out
leads and
why
interviews
I'm
are
not getting
conducted.
any
And
volume.
again, our case is ready to go to court when Travis is brought to justice. So I appreciate your
Oh
time.
my.
We'll answer more questions, and I'm going to allow the U.S. Marshal Service to take some further questions from you, the media. But again, I appreciate all of you being here. This is the kind of group effort that's going to take to bring justice to this case. Please make sure you keep their names in your mind and that we bring justice back for those young ladies. Girls is what I've understood the family would like me to refer to them as. But they're deeply in our minds, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Chief Brown with U.S. Marshal Service, Eastern District, Washington. Appreciate everybody being here today. The community support from our law enforcement partners, which the sheriff has already enumerated, and you as a community has been greatly helpful to us. With that support, we're able to involve ourselves and focus on the fugitive investigation. Part of that is to include deploying our rapidly advancing manhunt program. That program brings resources from all over to include funding to support your community, the Sheriff's Department, Border Patrol, and all the other resources so we can navigate the terrain and locate and apprehend the fugitive. We will not stop. We will keep going. He just has to make one mistake, like the sheriff said. We will find him. He will be brought to justice so the community can heal. Thank you.
And with that, we'll take about 5 minutes for questions for either two.
Has Decker left any physical evidence behind in the areas that you guys have received tips about?
We have found
indicating that it's him.
We have found items that are of interest to us that perceive that it could be Mr. Decker. We've also continued to follow up with some of his friends and family, and we believe that we're closing in on his trail.
Sheriff Morrison, what can you tell us about yesterday's possible sighting at Blewett Pass?
Again, this just emphasizes the importance. If you see something, say something. We're appreciative of those group of hikers that were up there, had more acknowledged us as our flight patterns were up there. And then just the behavior that we saw from the lone hiker did not match. That was typical with everyone else we were seeing up there. So again, that sparked our interest. We did put a ground unit on there to continue tracking the prints that we had. We continue to track that down in Eagles Creek and up in the Valley High area. So again, we appreciate everyone, even on the back trails. You need to remain vigilant. And again, we encourage you not to approach the subject. He is still considered dangerous, but please, we need as much information and help from the public as we can get. As we've seen in the past with other manhunts, it is going to take a group effort in a community in order to bring this to a conclusion.
Can you tell anything from yesterday to today? It seems like you guys were close yesterday and everyone was kind of on edge. I'm just wondering, what about those tactics today? It seems like you guys
No, our tactics have still continued. We still have a ground team on there. We have dogs out there that we're tracking leads. We're going through sightings. We're also doing trackings of what we have found with footprints. So nothing has changed from yesterday. We've just started to head in a different direction. So until that time, our ground units are still on the ground. We still have resources within the Chelan County Sheriff's Office pursuing that, and we'll continue to hunt.
Is there concern that he could be going a different direction towards the Teanaway Trail, towards Cle Elum?
Absolutely, and I've already been in contact with Kittitas County Sheriff Clay Myers this morning. We know that he has resources on the ground as well. There is nowhere that he's going to be able to go that we don't have units waiting for him. King County Sheriff's Office has already been here assisting us. Snohomish County, been in touch with Okanagan County. We have Douglas County Sheriffs in close contact. They have the Grant County Sheriff today. He is surrounded. Washington State knows who he is. We're going to continue to be in there, and he's got a lot of ground to cover. Eventually, he's going to tire, and he's going to make a mistake.
How confident are you that lone hiker you guys spotted is Travis Decker?
We feel pretty confident that it could be him, but again, we're not going to ever go out and say 100% until we have him in our grip.
Sheriff Morrison, when the dogs find Decker, how does that process work after that?
Again, Mr. Decker is going to be able to dictate how this ends. We've encouraged him time and time again to give up, do so peacefully. That's what we're aiming for. But again, Mr. Decker is going to be the one who's going to dictate how this ends. We do not just deploy dogs, just to deploy dogs. They're there to assist us in a tracking process and, of course, to protect the handlers. But he's going to be given the same professional courtesy as any other citizen within Washington State or the United States. We're going to follow de-escalation principles that are followed here in Washington State. We're going to communicate. We're going to do contact and cover, maintain our distance. Our intent is not to hurt or injure him. It is to bring him to justice and make sure that he's in good shape so he can face trial.
Are there anything as far as motive goes?
Nope. And again, I've said it before, I don't think the motive would even matter. As far as we see it, 3 young girls have been killed. I don't think the motive is going to matter.
Are there any updated pictures of the person who may have the gun or any game camera footage or snipers?
We're continuing to reach out and talk to different residents throughout the Valley High and the Ingalls Creek area to see if they do have any cameras mounted in their house. Again, the most recent photos we had is what we've shared. And that was a couple days before he went off grid and, of course, was last seen up the icicle.
Have there been any found supply caches, reported burglaries, and why do you think Decker is now armed?
I don't think any information has been out that he's armed, but I mean, I certainly feel that he is dangerous. If any of you remember the search that we had about 1.5 years, 2 years ago in Kittitas County, we recognized that subject was raiding campgrounds. He had broken into the Liberty grocery store. So again, if you're out there and you notice that you have a vacation home out there or campsite, we want you to keep track of your supplies, of your cabins. If you do have things that are missing, even if it's minor items. In that case, in the previous manhunt, we do know they were just taking a couple items out of coolers, but it was those campers that were attentive and realizing how many supplies they had. This could be a way that he could continue his path out there.
So no biggest challenge right now for you guys?
Terrain. I mean, we have a very unique terrain when you get to the west end of our county. Again, I mentioned it before, 87% of our county is not accessible by road. If you go out there, it's steep terrain. It's heavily wooded. It's not the easiest to access. We have the Pacific Crest Trail, but another unique feature we do have in our favor is that we are a tourist destination. So we have a lot of people out there also recreating on those trails. So we're encouraging them, if you are going to come here, of course, be safe, but help us be those additional eyes and let him know that he has no safe spot to go.
Sheriff, was there a barricaded suspect situation last night on Hewitt Pass? Was that related at all?
We did get a call of a potential subject that was in a residence up in the Valley High area. Based off the information we got from our sergeant that briefed the administration here, that did not come out to be a valid call. But again, we're going to continue to handle every single lead that we get as a valid complaint. New tactics as in searching and or in how we contact people? Okay. So, I mean, anyone that has been following Washington state law over here over the last several years, of course, we have Washington State's de-escalate Washington, which was I-940. And of course, it's just how we contact. I mean, we're going to control our pace when we're out there. We're working on contact and cover officers. We've invested heavily, thanks to our county commissioners and other federal partners, with less lethal tools. Again, we're not looking to injure anybody. We just want to take the subject into custody and make sure he stands trial.
I know there's state, local, and federal agencies. Are you guys working with EPA?
Are you talking about which partners we have? Sorry, getting a little bit of background. Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys working with any Canadian agencies?
I did have contact today with some enforcement agents up in Canada. We continue to work with our prosecutor's office on that front. But again, we've appreciated all the assistance we've had internationally and nationally assisting us. I mean, we're a medium-sized agency, and we recognize without the support of our partners federally, state, and locally, we certainly would have a unique challenge that I don't think we'd be able to take on by ourselves. So we're thankful for that.
One more question, please. One more. Reopening Icicle Road.
Icicle Road was already opened back up. I know the U.S. Forest Service, who's also been one of our partners we've been communicating with, has put out in their press releases that the enchantments is open again. Again, we'd encourage people to be cautious when they're out there. It is a very wide open terrain, and now you have the potential of a subject who is perceived to be dangerous out there as well that's unaccounted for. So come prepared and know that if there's lots of other places here in Washington State you can recreate. Of course, we want you to come here and visit Chelan County, but if you do so, please be careful. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Okay. With that, we'll conclude today's press conference. For our media partners that are here, if you haven't, I have a media contact list I'd like to have updated so I can send out the most up-to-date information. Currently, we don't have another press conference scheduled, but do keep an eye out on our social media platforms and upcoming press releases for that information. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so that I think I'm going to stop here because this is getting a little bit lengthy than I anticipated. So I think what I'd like to do is actually on the next one, because there's still a lot more to go over in this case. So I think on the next one, what we'll do is we'll go over the divorce documents. And then there's also 2 videos that I'd like to show, and I think that was actually the first press conference, so I'm gonna show another one as well. So I think what we'll do is I'll plan on doing that. Um, Other than that, I think I'm gonna end it out here. If anything breaking happens, in the meantime, between, probably now and probably tomorrow, I'll certainly be live, because I plan on covering this case from here on out. All right. And other than that, I will see y'all later. Bye.